Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be ranking my latest 10 palettes that I've purchased. And some of them are pretty old because I haven't filmed this video, this type of video in like 4 months maybe. There's quite a lot of palettes, but I've been kind of reviewing like around 2 palettes a month. So it kind of tracks. Sometimes I've been doing a little bit more, but usually it was 2. So yeah, I think 4.5 months since the last, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to film these 10 palette rankings every other month, you know, that would be crazy. I still feel like I don't get to use my new palettes and palettes that I'm panning enough. Like I always feel like I have to specifically organize when I'm gonna use certain palettes so that I get enough uses in everything, like in all of my projects and all of the new palettes, and also have some progress with my project pan. So it's getting a little bit like, I definitely feel like I shouldn't be reviewing more than 2 palettes a month, because I always want to, for my reviews, I always want to know pen left behind that palette, so I want to use every single shade in my initial review. And then before I haul it, I also want to use each shade 2 times more, so that every single shade is used at least 3 times before it's hauled in my monthly haul. Which means that for bigger palettes, it can take me like 2 weeks to work on a palette before I get to like no pen left behind it 3 times. So, you know, it's very time consuming for sure. But anyways, these are the newest 10 palettes in my collection. I have one more palette that I have reviewed already, but I haven't no pen left behind it yet. I still need to use it one more time to try all the shades for the first time. So it's gonna be in the next installment of this kind of category of videos. So these are the 10 newest, and I'm gonna go from the worst to the best. I don't think any of these are like bad palettes. Now that I think of it, I'm not completely sure if I shouldn't, because obviously I only have physical palettes that are in my collection, but I'm not completely sure if there wasn't a review of a palette that I have already decluttered from my collection. Let me actually check that now. I'm not completely sure, and I forgot to make a list. I usually have a list and I just add the palettes, and once there's 10 palettes, I just film these videos. But this time I forgot. I thought it's gonna be really easy for me to track everything, and now I'm not fully sure. Yeah, there was actually, okay, so I know what's gonna be number 10. Because I've forgotten that there was one palette that I tried. I found my review. I did like 2 more looks after the review, and then I decluttered it immediately because it wasn't good. So number 10 is gonna be the Cherry Palpitation palette. I don't know how else it's called. It was like a pinky green color story. I think I have pictures of it, so I will pop them over here. But yeah, I only had that palette for like a month. Well, I had that for a while before I actually started filming the review, but within the same month I reviewed it and decluttered it because it just wasn't good quality. A lot of the shades were either too light, so they wouldn't even show up on me, and the ones that they did, they wouldn't really last all day. Like the mattes would kind of disappear on the eyes, and the shimmers were very lackluster. There were like 2 shimmers that were kind of nice, but again, they would just lose the intensity over the course of the day, and it just wasn't good. I didn't really like how it looks. It turned, like every single time I would try to use that palette, it would look nice for a couple hours, or maybe like, well, like 2 or 3 to be honest. And then it would just look like a blob of kind of dust on my eyes. Like it looked like a hint of a bruise rather than an eyeshadow. And yeah, and I've heard from people that some palettes from them are really, really good, but also that there are palettes that aren't all that wonderful. So I think they just don't have very stable formula. And yeah, I did not enjoy this at all. I thought it was gonna be really cute because it was really small palette. It was honestly really pretty. Like, it looked really nice, and I thought it could be an easy palette to have in my collection to just kind of reach for once in a while. And also there was like one shade that I think it was supposed to be kind of that like cream to powder formula, but it just didn't work. It was strange. It was, I don't understand that formula. Maybe I'm just the wrong audience for that. Maybe I don't know how to use these eyeshadows, but I've tried a lot of different brands and a lot of different formulas, and this just wasn't working for me. So, and I'm not gonna, like, if I have 70 palettes and I've had others over the course of the year, over the course of my makeup journey, and they've all worked for me in a certain way and to a certain capacity, I'm not gonna change my ways for one palette. You know, like, it's gonna have to fit my preferences and it's gonna fit the way that I do makeup. I'm not gonna change my ways for one palette in the entire collection. That just doesn't make sense to me. Yes, if it would be the case that most of my palettes don't work for me, then I would think that it's my fault. But if it's just one, I think it's safe to assume that it was probably Charip's fault, and not mine. So that's number 10. Number 9, and this has nothing to do with the quality. I actually really like the quality. I think it's great, and I like the color story as well. But it's gonna be the Beauty Moon Cosmetics Will My Finger Do. This one. It's a collab palette. It came around Pride Month, and it's beautiful. You have all of these rainbowy neon-y colors. Then you have some neutrals. You have beautiful shimmer shades. Like, it's really nice. I think it's the best Beauty Moon palette that I have. I just, the other ones I think are a little bit nicer. What I will say about Beauty Moon's formula, I think they improved their matte formula, but it's still a little bit, like, it takes a little longer to build up for me. I have mattes in my collection that are a little bit more creamy and a little bit more pigmented, and I'm someone who, like, I don't need soft shades in my collection because I know how to blend. So for me, I need something that's quick to use because I do my makeup at like 5:30 in the morning. So I just need something that's quick. And the less pigmentation it has, the longer it takes me to build it up to the opacity that I want. Clearly, I want quite a bit of pigment. And these ones just, it takes me longer to create an eyeshadow look with this than with other palettes, just because of the pigmentation. But otherwise, it looks beautiful. I do love the shimmers. I think they are better than their previous collection. I mean, I only have 2 other palettes from them, but these feel really nice. And I do like the selection. Is it as, how am I gonna put this? I'm probably not gonna reach for this palette as often as my other palettes, just because a lot of these shades you can't really blend with each other. You can use them next to each other, but because they are very like neon-y, you can't really blend them too much. So it's more for those like artsy looks, which I love to do, but it's not something that I have time for every single day. It's probably something that I'm only gonna use on the weekends, and there's only a certain amount of days in a month, and I want to rotate through my fun palettes, so it's not gonna get as much use for me, probably, but it's still a really nice palette, and all of these palettes from now on, including this one, are great palettes that I'm keeping in my collection. I don't think I would declutter any of these. So that's number 9. Number 8. And this one, I was kind of wondering if I'm not gonna switch these up, because technically this next palette is worse quality, But I like the color story a bit more. I think the color story is a lot more my style. It's something I'm gonna use more. And the theming also works better for me, but the quality is worse, technically. And that's the Nomad Cosmetics Haunted Europe palette. I have it in the packaging, so let me actually take it out. But this is how it looks like. It has the lenticular packaging. This is one of their like older palettes. It was released quite a while ago, but I wanted to try it because I think it was part of some kind of sale or something. So I bought it. Maybe I'm gonna put it like this. So I bought it. I do love the color story. I think it's beautiful. I love these like autumnal, like stormy colors, and then these really like pumpkin patch type of color story. But this is with their old shimmer formula, so even though all the mattes are absolutely stunning, the shimmers are very, very lackluster. They're just the old no matte formula, and because this one has quite a bit of shimmers, I think it even has more shimmers than mattes, or it's half and half. I'm not sure, and I don't want to count it right now. And no matte, sometimes if the palettes are more matte heavy, the shimmer quality gets better because obviously they can spend more money on the shimmers. But when it's like half and half or more shimmers, they do usually have some that are mostly just satins, which is the case of these. And the ones that are sparkly, I don't know, like it just doesn't create that sparkly effect on the eyes. Like they might look sparkly with this light and on camera, but then in real life they just don't look like that on daylight and stuff. So yeah, I love the color story. I feel really inspired by this color story, but every single time I'm gonna use it, I'm probably gonna use these shimmers just as a base, and then I'm gonna use toppers over them to make them actually nice and interesting and fun for me, which is kind of a shame. And it does put me off of this palette a little bit, but also I can't really, it's a Halloweeny palette, so I can't get rid of it. Maybe I think I'm gonna keep it for like a year, and then I'll reevaluate if I actually want this palette. But for this year and for next Halloween, like next year's Halloween, I will keep this, and then I'll decide if it stays in my collection or not, because it's definitely not gonna be my most used palette. But also I don't really want to part ways with it. So that was number 8. Number 7 is gonna be the Glamlight Middle Earth palette. It's the Lord of the Rings collab collection. I only have the well, no, I actually bought the entire collection. I just don't have the makeup bag. I think that's all I'm missing from that collection. But this is how it looks like. It's a beautiful 20-pan palette. That's like half matte, half shimmers. The only reason why it's here is because the color story is a little bit, for me, neutral. Like it's not as exciting as other palettes. And Glamlight's formula is really strong in mattes and quite basic with the shimmers. Like it's not a bad formula by any means. It's better than no matte, but at least the palette that I had, that I have shown you right now. But it's not like outstanding shimmer formula. They're just nice shimmers, like basic shimmers. There's nothing to really, like there's nothing bad about them, but there's also nothing spectacular about them. It's just mid. It's okay. I do like this color story. I find it to be really nice. Like I actually created a couple looks that I haven't really worn before, and I was very impressed by the way that they looked. But it's just a green neutral palette with a pop of purple. But what I will say, I like the tones of grays because they're not too cool toned. Like obviously it's gray eyeshadow, so it is cool toned, but they, even on their own without interference of my undertones, they are a little bit more on the purpley side. Like there's a hint of purple in those grays, so on me they do look quite a bit purple, most grays do turn purple-ish on me, but sometimes when they're like too cool toned, they do look like a light blue instead of gray. And I don't always love grays on me, but these ones are really nice. They do genuinely create a nice effect and they work for me. They're a little bit on that like warmer side of gray eyeshadows. So, but I feel bad for putting it at this spot because I love Lord of the Rings so much. But I can't rank it higher. I really cannot. Then I was kind of wondering because one palette is technically maybe like the formula is just as good, but it provides me more shades. But also I like the shimmers in the other palette. But it's a small palette, so it's very... you don't have that many options of what you could do with it. So I guess number 6 is gonna be this sheen effect. I think it's Chameleon something. It doesn't say on the packaging, and the paper sleeve that came with it is in Chinese because this is a Chinese brand, so I couldn't tell you how it's called even if I tried. But I know it had something Chameleon in the name. And this is how it looks like. So it has these like warm browns and then this pink and the kind of turquoisey shade. And then the shimmers, they all pull very much blue purple, but they're super sparkly, shiny. This one at the top is even holochrome. And for the fact that this is 9 pan, I can actually do quite a lot with it. So I'm like, when it comes to 9 pans, I feel like this one definitely provides a lot for you. And it's genuinely great quality. I was so surprised by this because the mattes are great and they show up really nice and they're really pigmented and the shimmers are gorgeous. So I feel like it should be moved up a bit in the ranking, but also I don't know if it's fair to the other palettes because technically I will only do like 3 looks that are genuinely different from each other, and then every other variety will be kind of a version of these 3 looks. But I'm genuinely impressed by this. That's number 6. Number 5 is gonna be the Nomad Salem Witch City palette. Again, the lenticular packaging. This is their newest palette. I mean, they're sneak peeking another one right now for the Christmas season, but we don't know what it's about yet. At least I don't, because I'm filming this on Thursday. But this is how it looks like. I feel like this is a amped up version of the Haunted Europe, and that's another reason why I'm slightly on the fence whether I should keep the Haunted Europe, because this one is just a little bit more vibrant version of it, but you still have these like purpley reddish grays and then pumpkin patch, so it's still in the same realm. This one is just a bit more vibrant. The shimmers here are definitely better. The mattes are slightly better. Nomad always had nice matte shades in my opinion, so there's not too much improvement that can happen realistically, but I feel like they are slightly nicer, slightly more like creamier. And the shimmers are definitely nicer. It's not my most favorite like shimmer formula when it comes to indie brands, but as far as Nomad goes, this is one of their best palettes that they've ever released. The only ones that I think are better for shimmers is the Fairytale Europe and the Fuji 5 Legs. Those genuinely have better formula for shimmers, but this one is like my 3rd favorite in the shimmer department from them. And I do love these tones. I love oranges, love greens, love purples. Those are the shades that I wear quite a lot, and I love Halloween color stories. And this is exactly what I think of when you say Halloween. So yeah, that's the reason why I ranked it a little bit higher than the sheen effect. But I was more impressed by this one than this one because I knew what I'm getting into. Since this is not the first palette that Nomad released with this improved shimmer formula, so I already knew roughly how it's gonna go. But this one I was a little bit more impressed, but that's also because I've never tried this brand, so maybe that's kind of swaying my ranking a little bit. And now for the top 4. This is so hard because I genuinely love them all, and all for different reasons. So I'm kind of hesitant to rank them. But I think number 4 will be the Basic Witch by Bella Beauty Bar. This is one of the newer palettes. I'm gonna show how it looks like, but mine is reorganized because I was duping one of newer Bella Beauty Bar palettes. So I have the duped color story in the Ocean Jewel palette, and whatever was left from these two palettes is currently here. So I will pop up a picture of how it is supposed to look like if I have a picture, but I should because I've filmed my review of this not that long ago, so it should be working. So I'm just gonna show you the picture. There's no point of me showing you this color story, even though I think the one that I have here right now with all of my Bella Beauty Bar leftovers is still gorgeous, and I would definitely wear this. But for the Basic Witch, I think it's wonderful. It's very like pink, orange, with a little bit of green and a little bit of like purple. And I do enjoy this color story. I think it's wonderful. I was very impressed by the quality. The mattes are so beautiful, and the shimmers are very sparkly, very wet looking, just gorgeous formula. So the reason why it's number 4 is just color story, because I feel like even though it is beautiful, I like the other color stories a little bit more. Just teeny tiny, but there's like a hair of difference between all of these, just to let you know. Like, it was very hard to rank. Number 3, this one I absolutely love. I was using this during summer, and I think it's such a perfect summer palette, and it's the DD Signature Drops of Fantasy. I've used this one multiple times. I think I've used it like for 12 looks already or something like that, and it is stunning. It has these beautiful neons, then these a little bit more softer muted shades. You kind of have the entire rainbow here, and then the shimmers in the middle are so pretty. I really enjoy this color story, and I love this formula. This is my second time trying DD Signature, and I think they're just as great with their matte and their shimmers as like Bella Beauty Bar or Fantasy Cosmetica, or these like genuinely beyond impressive brands. And this one is so pretty. I love this color story. I love this kind of tealy green with this very beautiful peachy shade, the pinks with the yellows, the beautiful greens, the tones of blue. I love these like royal blues and these really bright blues. They just look gorgeous. And then with the yellow and everything, I just love this. And there are so many combinations that you can do, and I feel like no matter how I'm gonna no matter which shades I'm gonna use for a look, it's always gonna just turn into the most beautiful, ethereal, fun eyeshadow look. Yeah, you can tell I'm really enjoying this one. I think it's gorgeous, and it's the right size. Like, it's not too small to the point that you don't have enough options, but it's also not too big, so I don't feel like overwhelmed by the amount of options I have. It's the right medium. I love 12 to 16 pan palettes. That's my like happy space. So this one. Then number 2, I've already talked about this palette, and it's the Ocean Jewel palette from Bella Beauty Bar. I was so impressed by this. This was my first time trying Bella Beauty Bar. I can show you how it looks like, but I don't have the original the original color story here. You can guess in the comment section what palette I'm duping. It is from Bella Beauty Bar, just a hint. This one is beautiful. It's like a blue, purple, green, teal palette, very mermaidy, very aquatic. And even though this is a little bit bigger palette, it is a 20 pan, I'm getting so many beautiful options here. It also has a row of kind of neutrals, but they're really pretty neutrals and they fit really nicely with the color story, with the bright blues and purples and greens. I love those like fluorescent greens that are in this palette, and the kind of like limey neon-y one that is also in here. It's just a great color story. It's beautiful formulas, and also I love this packaging, and it really inspires me like for color combinations. This one, and every single time I open this palette, I open up this palette, I just get, I see a new color story that I haven't noticed before. And that's what I love about palettes, like when they make me actually intrigued and give me new ideas every single time. So that one, number 2, so pretty. Like they should all be number 1, honestly. But number 1, I decided, because I feel like this is the most me palette. It's the one that gives me kind of my like everyday shades, which definitely are neutrals, but for me, like greens are neutrals, pinks are neutrals, peaches, reds a little bit, yellows definitely. So like I have a lot of shades that I use on a daily basis, but this one has the right depth and it has the right color story that is really easy to use, but still really, really fun, and it gives you a lot of cute little options. And that's the little collaboration with Adventure Time. It's the Candy Kingdom palette. This one is a 20 pan, is it? Do I want to count it? No, it's 24 pans of eyeshadows. But because these pans are a little bit smaller, it feels more compact and it doesn't feel too big for me, so I don't feel overwhelmed. And it's just the right depth. I have a lot of beautiful pastels, which I need pastels, but I have also really nice midtones and deep tones. I love the shimmers here, the selection, the way that they look. It's just a perfect palette. If you told me to build a palette that would be perfect for me, it would be very similar to this, to be honest. And I'm quite surprised by some of the color combination that they've used. And I love the layout, because I feel like no matter how I'm gonna choose to use this palette, like even if I'm gonna use specific rows or columns or 4 pans or 6 pans, 9 pans within this palette, it's always gonna be a really nice color story. It does keep me very, very entertained and intrigued. And yeah, I just feel like there's so much fun I can have with this palette. So this one deserves the number 1 spot for sure. I adore this. Also, the packaging, again, it just inspires me. It's cute. It's one of those like kind of squishy ones. And even though I don't really know much about Adventure Time, I'm sorry, I don't really. But I definitely want to get to know this franchise. It's just really nice. I think they did a wonderful job, and I'm falling in love with Lidl. I think especially their collab products are usually the ones that get the best reviews, and that is nice. Like sometimes when brands release a collab collection, the quality gets a little bit worse because they know people will buy it anyways since they like the collab. So they just need like a cute packaging, but Lidl always delivers on the quality, the formulas, and it's not actually that often that you see that when it comes to makeup collections. So I'm very happy about this one. I'm always so happy when I use this, and that's exactly what I want from my collection, to bring me peace and happiness and fun. So this one deserves the first place. But let me know how you would rank them, and what's like your top 3 newest palettes that you've introduced to your collection. And if you're on a no buy or low buy, let me know what's your most loved palette in your collection. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I love filming these because it kind of puts everything into context for me. And also I get to revisit some palettes that I haven't really seen for a while, because obviously since I'm doing so many projects, some of these that I've reviewed like 4 months ago, I haven't really used too much for the past like 2 months, so I get to revisit my memories and look through my like looks and review videos to kind of remind myself how I felt about these, and it usually inspires me to use them again. So that's also another nice initiative for me. But that's gonna be everything for today. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow for another video. Also, guys, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel in case you haven't in case you're not subscribed yet. It really does help me out a lot, and I really appreciate that. Bye, guys.